This is Transqat, a safe space to stand. Transgender issues, queer people, respectful conversations. I'm host Clare McCarthy. Welcome to Transqat. Today's episode of Transqat is available as an audio-only podcast. Today's episode is a conversation with the staff at Prism Counseling, and it comes with a bit of an apology. We recorded this back in November, so many of the events they mention have already passed by. When I schedule and record episodes, I split them into ones that are time-sensitive and those that are evergreen. I put this in the latter category.
Oh, you're so wrong about that.
I know, I'm sorry. But here at the end of March, Prism has a brand new slate of community activities. Beck will spell out the website during our interview. Check them out. A housekeeping note. Tony Ferriolo, who was most recently on the show in episode 68, and Sarah Salato, who was on way back in episode 36, have started their own podcast. It's called Prideful Connections. It's underwritten by Healthcare Advocates International, which means they have a state-of-the-art studio, whereas I record from under a couch in my living room. In terms of a business plan, theirs seems a lot more efficient than my being sponsored by 4 cats. Anyway, I was invited to be a guest, and that episode aired last week. You can check it out wherever you get this show. I recommend the audio-only version because, frankly, the dysphoria has been pretty heavy on me lately. And now, let's turn it over to the fine people at Prism.
All right.
I'm taking the hedgehog. Becca, I love this space. Every time I come in here, I feel good. I am. You can describe for them since this is radio.
You grabbed the rainbow hedgehog.
I am holding a rainbow hedgehog. Yeah, gay hedgehogs are the best.
Yeah, that's Gus, we've decided.
Okay, Gus the hedgehog will be joining us today. Let's start with you, because you have been on the show before.
I have.
So you know all the ropes.
Sort of, yeah. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Last time was right when we started. It was shortly after we moved to this space. And that was about Proud Academy, which we will find out tomorrow if they have been accepted as the next charter school for Connecticut.
Oh, fingers crossed.
Big vote is tomorrow.
Gus is crossing his, hedgehogs don't have fingers, but
his quills.
You get the idea.
I'm Rebecca Degnan. I'm a licensed professional counselor, the owner of Prism, the mad woman behind many of the crazy ideas that we come up with, and parent of a son who is trans. He's open and happy for me to share that. He's 18 now. I think last time he was 16. He's at Hampshire College and loving it. And so I was a school chorus teacher for 10 years.
Ooh.
Did you not know that?
No.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So my first degree and my first career were music.
Tell me how that makes you feel. Oh, no, wait, sorry. I'm sorry. That's, yeah.
Well, I feel very proud. But, I was a course teacher for 10 years. And so my first career was in music. I still do music. I am dressed all in black tonight because I'm going from here to accompany a 4th and 5th grade chorus concert.
And a shudder went through the room.
I love it. They're adorable. And it's nice when it's not really my responsibility. I just play for fun and I get paid to be there.
And then you go home.
They're cute.
Yeah.
So I chorused, and then for 7 years I was a school counselor, and I worked in the district where my kids went to school. And my son was the first kiddo to come out as trans in his high school when he was a freshman, and being an employee of the same district where he was and finding myself in a position where I needed to advocate for him a lot, it just became apparent that I would need to move on from that position. And so in thinking what I might want to do, I realized that the support that would have been helpful for my husband and I when Taryn came out, but wasn't available at that time, would be something that I would love to provide to other people. So I decided to start a private practice, but really focus on that community. At the time, I thought I would focus mostly on supporting parents whose kids had come out recently, and that was sort of the initial plan. And then as I got started, I realized that there was a much more diverse need in the community. And so just kind of expanded from there. We work with all ages now, and kids, teens, adults, parents, all of the above.
And Taryn, when he was on the show with us the last time, this was back in season 1, folks, but he did an amazing job of giving voice to what he experienced, both in grade school and in middle school, and through this whole process. So we'll put a link in the show notes, but folks, go back and check that out, because that was a remarkable conversation.
I am Jillian Celentano. I am one of the counselors that works for Rebecca. My story is I identify as a transgender woman, but I came out much later in life. I came out and started my transition when I was 55.
I did as well.
There
All
we go.
the best people do.
That's right, exactly. And the interesting thing is, it is amazing when you love yourself or really find the value in yourself, the things you can do. And that's what I want to really try to tell everyone and teach everyone as I do. So after I came out, I decided I needed to go back to school and become a counselor, because the need for me to find a counselor who was trans affirming was nearly impossible. So I'm like, well, if you can't beat them, join them, right? Went back to school, finished my undergrad, and then I went to my graduate degree and graduated at 61 and came to work. And I work mostly with teens, young kids, all ages. But my heart really belongs to the teens and young adults and the kiddos. And,
Which is where the need is the greatest.
Yeah, exactly.
Although one of the things you said, and this comes up in the show regularly, is that very often people find that when they're searching for a mental health professional, it will say in the listing that they have LGBTQ experience, and then you get there and you start the interaction and realize, oh no, this is just kind of a box that they've ticked. They've never actually worked with people like us.
Very true. Yeah, very true. So I think the biggest part is when I work with the trans or gender diverse or expansive population, half the work's done because they're like, oh, you're trans, you get it. I don't have to talk about gender dysphoria and what it feels like. We're already 50% into building rapport. So I'm taking my superpower and using it for good, not evil. And so, yeah, I've done other things. I've ran groups for kids before as I was getting my education. Loved doing groups. I interned at Yale, the Yale Gender Program for a couple of years. I got involved with a lot of studies. I'm actually an author, published author on a couple of studies, and I wrote a book during the pandemic.
I was going to say, a friend of mine just gifted your book to me. Tell us what it is, how people can access it.
Sure. So it's the name of the book is Transitioning Later in Life, a Personal Guide, and it's basically how I came out in transition, but then it's just a bunch of stories that, going through this transition and the experiences in the world. But in the end, the whole book is about loving yourself. So you can read this book even if you're not trans. It's just about when you come to terms with yourself, you become unstoppable.
I'm Emma Gulick. I am one of the therapists here as well. I am a member of the LGBTQ community and kind of had that journey later not later, I'm not that old, but later in more recent, in the past 6-7 years of coming into this community and becoming a part of it. I graduated in May with my master's in social work and started working for Beck. All my friends are in this community, and it's one that I really care about and want to advocate for and help empower. So the practice here, and we should say this is Prism Counseling in Killingworth, Connecticut.
Yep.
Has been here, 3-ish, 4?
We moved here in 2022.
The numbers are terrifying in terms of mental health in America. Just scrolling through, 57.8 million adults live with some form of mental illness. I'm one of them. Anxiety, 43% of adults in the U.S. reported feeling more anxious last year than they did in 2023. 70% were particularly anxious about current events. Suicide, 12.8 million adults, 13% of youth aged 12 to 17 reported experiencing serious thoughts of suicide. And that's the general public. That's before we start breaking those stats down into the queer community. Where is this coming from?
For, the folks that we work with, I don't think it's any secret that it's definitely gotten more difficult in recent years with politics and post-election and with the incoming administration. There's definitely a significant uptick in anxiety, so much fear, anger, sadness, feeling betrayed by other people.
Even before I get to the clients, I'm going to inject myself in this. As a trans person, I find myself regressing. And what I mean by that is I am now really nervous using the bathroom. I find myself, it's harder to go to places because, I think I'm a 75% or passable person, but all of a sudden what didn't bother me bothers me now. And I've noticed that I'm kind of isolating myself a little bit. So I can't imagine being a youngster or a kiddo or whatever, anybody. So, I'm trying to build up some kind of just encouragement for them to how we're going to deal with this.
Well, it puts you guys in an uncomfortable position because you want to, as the adults in the room, you want to say, it's going to be okay. I can help you deal with this. It's going to be fine. And that's a lie.
I wouldn't dare, as, I'm token cis person in the room, but also in my counseling sessions, I'm very aware that I work almost completely with the trans community. As a cis woman, I would never sit here and tell a client it's going to be okay. Obviously we all hope that it will, but we don't know what's going to happen. I can say we're in it together. I can say I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
We as a practice are not going anywhere, and that we're going to be there for them. But none of us really know what's going to happen, and we're all scared.
Yeah. Emma, what are you hearing from the folks you're working with?
A lot of fear, a lot of uncertainty. I think a lot of people I work with are just in the process of trying to figure out how they fit into this world. So for all of a sudden it to kind of be turned against them and being told even more than normal that they're not necessarily welcome, or that's what policies and those in leadership are they are saying.
And it's not an abstract fear. I mean, in the past, there have certainly been administrations and state governments that we know in general are not friendly to the queer community. But this administration won the election expressly on the promise to do everything it could to wipe out the trans and non-binary community. So what you're hearing is anxiety. What you're hearing is, how am I supposed to make it in the world out there?
And then another thing we hear a lot is people being just very hurt and betrayed by family and friends, finding out somebody voted for he who shall not be named, and realizing that, they said that they supported me. They said that they had my back, that they care, that they love me for who I am. And then they voted for him. Those two things don't go together. And so there's a lot of betrayal, hurt, but also anger. A lot of anger, I think, at those people.
I mean, we know it's coming, but we have lined up defenses. ACLU, HR, everybody,
Lambda Legal.
Yeah, everybody's, and we hear what's going to happen, but we're all along the line, but we don't know what we're going to fight. We know what we're going to fight, but we don't know. So I think that's causing a lot of anxiety. At least I want to know exactly what we'll know. I know we're going to know, but at least now we have a tangible enemy in front of us that we can start fighting, and that's what kind of I approach it at that. Okay. Now we know where to go. Now we what to do. So I kind of think of that as it's hard to fight, something that's not tangible yet. But once we know what's going on, I think it's going to help us really direct and make us feel a little bit better and start fighting through the courts and or whatever. So I don't know. I kind of hold on to that.
It's easier to fight when you've been able to define what you're fighting. Certainly. Yeah.
We know, but we really don't know yet.
One of the real concerns, though, is that anger leads to certain behaviors. You brought it up in terms of stress within the family, where this caretaker, this relative has betrayed me and I'm angry about it. But anger gets turned inward, especially when you don't feel you can express yourself. It leads to harmful behaviors. It leads to suicidal ideation, potentially leads to homelessness, right? If you start feeling that I can't trust my parents, my caretakers anymore? Are you seeing an uptick in these sorts of threats?
Yeah, I haven't yet. I haven't. I mean, right now, most of the youth I'm dealing with have pretty good support system, but I haven't found too much of that yet. I don't know. Have either one of you?
I've seen more of how all this has been empowering other people to be jerks more than usual. Some of the youth that I've worked with are now starting to see the getting bullied more, having things said to them that they had never really had to deal with before.
The veneer of civility gets ripped away once the person at the top of the pyramid
Gives
says,
permission.
"Yeah, we don't have to be polite anymore. We don't have to be considerate. In fact, you're weak if you are.
I think we're all very much prepared and ready and sort of unfortunately expecting a little bit of an uptick in the next year. And so we do a lot of talking about what can we do? What can we do proactively? What can we prepare for? And hopefully that will help. Really trying, we've always had a focus on fostering community, but really digging deep into that value and trying to do everything we can to help people connect with each other so that they have not only us, but also a community and friends to lean on, especially if their families are not having their backs right now.
Are you a Connecticut-based LGBTQ plus or allied business, individual, or member of a corporation? Are you looking for connections in your community? Then join the CTGLC, the Connecticut Gay and Lesbian Chamber. Since 2007, the CTGLC has offered an inclusive, vibrant business community where all are welcome. They cultivate a sense of belonging, both within the LGBTQ plus community and for those who support their mission. The CTGLC is committed to promoting and supporting its members by connecting LGBTQ plus businesses, entrepreneurs, and allies with opportunities to network, engage, and collaborate. CTGLC members include all types and sizes of businesses from many industry sectors across the state. Are you ready to experience the power of belonging? Visit ctglc.org and become a member today.
And then, little shameless promotion, speaking of anger and letting anger out in healthy ways.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
I don't know when this is airing,
I know
but
what's coming.
Probably after. But, we do think of those things. And so one of the things that we have planned is a Rage Room event at Explicitly Broken in Derby on Inauguration Day, because that's a day that some of us we're not going to need to sit around and talk about our feelings that day. We're going to need to break things. So those are the types of things we try to come up with to really meet the need wherever it's at and help people connect with each other. But also, let's release that anger. That anger is real. Yeah. It's valid, and it can be toxic if we keep it in. And no, we don't want to turn to violence. But yes, we want to let it out. So that was kind of what we came up with. Like, all right, let's go break things in a controlled environment.
Breaking things sounds wonderful.
I will be breaking things.
Okay. Do they give you implements? Like, can you take a sledgehammer to something?
They give you a variety of implements. They give you all sorts of different things. And if you want, we wanted to keep the cost as low as possible. So it's only $30. But we also have gotten a generous donation from Project Courage in Old Saybrook to cover people who need a scholarship. So if people can't afford it, we will still find a way for them to participate. But for an extra cost, you can actually go to the back room and pick whatever you want. They have huge storage of TVs, whatever you want, and you just pay a little extra and you can break extra. It's pretty cool.
Wow. It sounds like a blast.
I might need a TV.
Yeah, I can
but
see that.
But not the flat screen. I need the old school.
No, you want to see the tube exploding.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, let's go in that direction, because you guys do a lot of programming, a lot of community building, some of which I've been lucky enough to be a part of. So let's talk a little bit about that. What sorts of things beyond individual or small group therapy does Prism do?
So, New York?
Oh,
which
that!
one?
I wasn't even thinking of that. But yes, I was thinking the speed friending.
Okay, so
but both?
Let's do that first. So one of the things that I've noticed, the common denominator with all our folks is that they all want friends. I want to meet friends. I want to meet friends in the community. And then we have events. They come, but nobody talks to anybody. But they all want friends, okay? And so this happened quite a few often. So the other day, I saw a commercial for speed dating. I'm like, wait a minute.
Sorry, was that out loud?
No, that's okay. Well, hold off. Don't cringe yet. So I decided we should try to we came up with the name speed friending. To say, like, there's 20 people, 10 tables, 2 people at a table. They have 8 minutes to talk. They must talk to each other. And we will even give them questions.
Well, I was going to say, do you give them a prompt? Because I would
help
know
them
what
with
to say.
social, I know, we understand there's a lot of social anxiety.
Yeah.
And then we will be walking, if anybody gets stuck. So I'm literally forcing these to people to talk, and then they'll rotate 10 times or 5 times, whatever, 10 times it is, whatever people we have.
Wow.
So we're going to do, I'm hoping to get together, do a speed friending night. Yeah, when is the day?
February 24th.
Oh, you're so good. I think you're right.
I
Yeah,
saw
I
it
think
in my
it's February
calendar like
24th.
last
So that's
night.
what we're aiming
Yes,
to do.
Emma.
We were discussing
February
before the
24th.
mic started rolling that some people like to put their obligations into a phone, and some of us prefer paper.
See, I would have had to flip through all of those pages till I got to February.
There are tabs. Sorry.
So I hit my breaking point, and I'm like, enough. You're going to talk. I'm going to force you to talk, Steve.
But we'll help you. There will be support structure.
Yes, there'll be support structure. All kidding
Music,
aside,
food,
it'll be
free
friendly.
food.
It'll be really, really.
So what you're
amazing.
saying is that bullying isn't always wrong. Sometimes
Peer pressure can be
Bullying
good.
with love.
Yeah,
It's bullying with
it's
love.
how we love.
No, but seriously, it'll be very affirming, very welcoming, and I think it'll be so cool.
I was going to say it's mandatory for our clients is what we're going to say. I think because yeah,
Be there
They
or
all
don't
need to be
come
there.
back next Thursday. I came here shortly after the election, and we should probably talk about our election day event.
Yes, that was pretty great.
But I came
That's sad,
here
but
a
great.
couple of days after election for porcine therapy.
Yes.
Oh, so delightful.
Which they're coming back.
Are they?
Yeah, but does your audience know what that word means?
Probably not.
I only know because it kind of
Bloody
sounds like pork.
Arrogant Latin teacher types. No wonder nobody likes
I'm
them.
just guessing. Yes, we had Pippi and Lola, who are the resident pigs of Deer Lake Outdoor Center. Jen Carroll is their owner and is wonderful and brought them by. So that was our first community day, or as one of the attendees lovingly called it, gay church. Which we might formally change it. You know who you are. Thank you for the idea. It is
sounds
gay
lovely.
church. So we're going to have gay church every month. Our second one was in December, and we did a candle decorating event, and it was very well attended. We put Elf on the TV. We have a nice little media center here now. And so we had, Elf on the TV, and we made candles and had hot chocolate, and it was just absolutely lovely. Conversation, very relaxed, all ages. And then our next one is again porcine therapy. Did I say that right?
That's lovely. Yes.
That is going to be on,
Which is very different from porcelain therapy.
It is.
I just want to be.
It is.
Because they're two different.
It's like pottery. And
both
stuff.
legitimate,
I don't
but
know.
no.
So the next one is on Saturday, January 25th. We're doing it, I think it's the last Saturday of each month. And again, Pippi and Lola, the lovely piglets.
They are, the wee piggies were so
here's the cutest part.
adorable.
I asked Jen, can they come inside? And she goes, oh yeah, they can come inside. I'll just bring their litter box.
They
have a little
pigs
litter
know
box.
how to use a litter
They
box?
do.
Is it a piggy litter box? or
Yes,
a
I
kitty
guess.
litter
I don't
box?
know.
Okay.
We're going to find out. So,
yeah.
so Pippi and Lola will be back from 10 to 12, the 25th of January. And each community day, we've sort of divvied them up. We're going to try and think of a different kind of activity or theme or something for each one. So
The cool thing about Pippi and Lola were that they weren't especially bristly.
No.
They were still kind of soft. Very often when you go to pet a grown pig, it's like, yeah, this isn't sensorily pleasant. But they were still kind of softy and
yes,
those
they're very
snouts.
cute. And really,
man,
they
there's
just care
nothing
about
like
their
a little snout.
blueberries. But really,
Sure.
the community days are really they're for the larger community. They're not just for the queer community. Obviously, there's a focus on that, but also for allies and really anyone who's just feeling disconnected and needs somewhere to go once a month to feel like they can just show up and be appreciated and, participate.
Well, this whole current political situation, unfortunately, came on the heels of COVID, where so many of us were locked inside, and kids were doing school virtually, and it seemed like their schedule changed every couple of months. We're doing a hybrid. No, we're doing all virtual. No, we're back in. No, all right, you're going back in, but we got to keep the desks 6 feet apart. How do we do that? I don't know. And it was just mayhem for a couple of years.
I was a school counselor through that. So I was
Through
in
it?
the schools through that whole thing. And a parent of 2 kids trying to navigate
Trying to get
it.
through
was,
it.
And that was in the middle of that election day of 2020 was the day that Taryn came out. So it was a rough couple of years.
Wow.
Yeah, great timing, kid. We've had words about that.
I think maybe, that's something you hang on to and bring up later in
when
life.
I need to throw it in his face,
exactly.
we do.
That set kids in the education system back, and you don't recover from that. If you fall behind in terms of social skills, in terms of, well, the curriculum, obviously, but you don't get caught up. You just are, and so we're still seeing lag from that.
Oh, yeah.
Do you see that getting better? Righting the ship? No.
Not this year.
Isn't there some kind of diagnosis that's going to make the DSM-6 from COVID? I heard there was
Really?
Oh, really?
I heard that.
Yeah, I heard. Now, don't quote me on it, but I heard that. I forget what it was, but isolation or something.
Yeah.
Social something to do, So we'll have to see when the next one comes
Yeah.
out. But that's how it's tough. Yeah, they lost a lot of social skills.
Yeah. Kids and adults.
They don't know how to.
I did.
They don't know how to interact with other folks. That's why this whole thing with friend dating, speed
friending,
whatever.
speed friending. We're working on it. We're working on
not
title.
saying the word date. No date.
No date.
So that's why I think it would be really important to do.
We have a lot of other events. Do you want to hear about other ones?
I do. And then I want you to tell me about Jeopardy at your election day.
Let's talk about that first.
Okay. So on election day...
Oh, Jeopardy was so fun. Where's my sugar packet? I only have rocks.
On election day, Prism put together a day-long event. Were you there for that?
Yeah, for some of it. Yeah.
And
with Clare's help.
With Clare's help.
Co-sponsored by Transqat.
And we tried to give people a haven. A place to go, a sanctuary where no stress. We're not talking election. We're not talking results. No TVs on. We're all we're going to be in the moment. So what kinds of things did we schedule that day?
Oh my goodness. Well, we had games and puzzles available the whole time. They have the wonderful cat cafe there.
Oh,
so
yes.
there were the cats with
feline therapy.
Feline therapy, yes. All the ein therapies around here.
Crocheting.
Thank you.
Rock painting.
Keep going.
Jeopardy.
Live music.
Yes.
Quinny was there.
Quinn Miller, the amazing Quinn Miller.
Yeah.
Love them.
They were. And we played Jeopardy. But but because we had a room full of people and neither of us, neither Transqat nor Prism, has access to a buzzer system. We had a technical problem that we needed to solve, which is how do you decide who rang in quotation marks, first? And we solved that by raiding Two Wrestling Cats' store of sugar packets. And everybody who was playing Jeopardy got a wee sugar packet, and the first person to hit Clare with a sugar packet got to answer the question. So
Epic.
Every time I asked something, I was just bombarded with sugar packets. It was...
There's a video on the Prism Facebook page if anyone wants to go find it.
So much fun. So much
Link
fun.
in show notes.
yeah, link in the show notes, absolutely. In which I may or may not have squealed.
It was definitely a squeal.
Oh, so yeah, that was an event. Other things that are more ongoing that you guys do?
We have a group for adults that meets twice a month, usually Fridays at 1 p.m. And that's a gender expansive adult group. That's more of a therapeutic group. In addition to being community building, obviously we have some more therapeutic focuses.
Game night.
Oh, yes.
You have your game night.
Yeah, Thursdays, right?
Yes, our LGBT, thank you. LGBT adult game nights, GAYME,
Ah.
are the third Thursday of every month. And so the next one is actually 2 days from now, from 6 to 7:30. And at those events, we kind of pull back. So as the clinician, because we would love for our, people who attend our events to talk to each other, I kind of hide in my office. I'm here physically in the space, but I'm not necessarily participating. And so that they can have an opportunity, obviously I'm here if needed, but just to have a good time together without feeling like it's therapeutic.
Right.
We don't want that therapeutic vibe. And as soon as I walk in the room, I feel like I bring it all down. They're like, the clinician's here. So, so they, play games, or we have video games. We have a Switch now. We have a Wii, tons of board games. We've had tons of board games and puzzles
I noticed
donated.
that on the way in. There are 3 shelves just at the door that are dangerously full of boxes of games.
Yeah, my husband said that he found the studs when he put the shelves in, so hopefully they're not going to fall, but we'll see.
So it all comes down to trust in Mark then.
It does.
Okay,
but he is an architect.
That's
so.
fine. I'm sure.
So we'll see.
The Transqat store is now open. We're starting small, a few stickers, and a bookmark designed by Transqat executive producer The Lady Bethesda, but we'll be adding more items as we go. To shop now, go to transqat.com, find support on the main menu, and then select store. We've also moved the sponsorship opportunities to the store so that everything can be in one place. The donate option is available under the support tab as well. Thanks in advance for supporting the show.
But yeah, so the game nights are great. What else do we have going on? We have a new thing starting with Q+. So we're partnering with Q+ and Shayna B's in Westbrook. Shayna B's by the Sea, best gluten-free restaurant in all of the world.
Wow.
Gluten-free and vegan. Chris is the owner of Shayna B's, and she reached out to us and to Q+ and asked if we could... Well, she wants to use her space to support queer youth, especially post-election. She just felt like she wanted to do something. And I think she reached out to the right people because we are partnering and starting this Friday, once a month, we're going to have a queer hangout space at Shayna B's. And it's collaborative between us and Q+. So really excited to start that this week. My daughter's really excited because she and I both have celiac, so that means we get Shayna B's at least once a month now.
Oh, wow.
Hopefully more.
Q+, for those of you who are not familiar, is a group here in Connecticut that works with queer youth. As a matter of fact, I am co-hosting a group that they do in East Haddam. We do twice a month. Put the flyer
At
in the
Wrestling
show
Cats.
notes at Two Wrestling Cats in East Haddam. And we find a lot of what you were saying as well, Jill, is that if sort of left to their own devices, they will sit there and stare. But last meeting, we brought in some games, and the person who brought them in, I had never seen or heard of these games ever before. 5 or 6 of us played this cool card game. You asked a question. It was a ridiculous question. And then each person had 4 or 5 cards in front of them, and they had to play one answer. And then you, as the dealer, had to arrange them from most probable to least probable. And they were so engaged, and we had fun. And it was, it was good to see, because I don't like that everybody to their own corners and are there is a time when you just need to sit in color, and that's cool, but
sometimes it's just not knowing how to do something else. Needing a little support. Jill has a crazy idea.
So the last couple of years, my friend and I, we went to the Rockettes, the Radio City Rockettes.
Oh,
and you know what, it is so enjoyable. It's so it's so I don't know. It's magical because of the special effects. Anyway, I know a lot of people aren't into it, but a lot of people are. So I have decided I would like to do a bus trip this year, the end of the year.
Yes.
To Radio City Rocket. I want to make it where no one has to pay for it. So it's going to take some serious fundraising, but I'm going to work out all the numbers. I think these kiddos, a lot of folks can't afford it.
Yeah.
Or don't have the means or whatever, but they have a free trip in and trip out. If you're under 18, you gotta have an adult. That's the only thing.
Sure.
But I'm figuring with if I have my way, I could get 50 people. It'll be pretty great, and I want to see just these kiddos experience.
Did you grow up going into Radio City Music Hall and seeing it?
No, I just started. I saw it for the first time like 5 years ago. I've never seen it before.
I've never seen it.
No, I've never
I'm a
been.
sucker for all the special effects. So
we're gonna make it happen, Jill. We're gonna make it happen.
Yeah, we got probably got to raise about $10,000. It's not going to be cheap, but we'll do it.
We got this.
Okay,
we're going to make it happen, and we're going to give the kids like a day like they will never forget it.
It's important for us to try and make all of our offerings either free or affordable, or at least have a option for like scholarship, because we know that there are so many people in the LGBT community that are low income or encounter barriers of various kinds. And so we want everything to be accessible.
And to add it, like we'll say, dress in your favorite, Christmas outfit, Maybe we can decorate the bus.
Yes.
We can really make it a day where I just think it would be over the top. It's just going to be a lot of work, but I think it's just going to be magical for the kids. I use that word a lot at Christmas. But
Becca, you just brought up the issue of cost, and that is definitely something not just within the queer community, but in general, that keeps people from getting the help they need is the cost of healthcare in general, mental health care specifically. How does Prism deal with that? Because you charged me to come in here and record with you guys tonight, and that seemed excessive.
We charge everyone for everything.
Yeah. I'm getting more chocolate. Hang on.
I'm actually paying you. You're eating all of my chocolate.
Paid in chocolate?
Yes. When I first started with Prism, I had very little experience with private practice. Most of my counseling experience had been in schools, and also have zero training in being a business owner. So I started as a fully private pay practice because I just couldn't. It was hard enough to figure out how to open a practice and be a therapist, let alone figuring out insurance. So at that time in 2022, I had a number of clients that were able to do private pay. And, essentially filled my own schedule with private pay clients. But fast forward to now, people can't afford private pay. I couldn't afford private pay. And so, especially post-election, as I said, we're all sitting around constantly thinking, how can we help? What can we do? What can we do? And the commitment that we made was to panel with all remaining medical insurance companies to make ourselves more accessible. At the time, we were with Husky, Connecticut, United, Optum, and UMR. And now we have added Medicare. We're working on Cigna, Aetna, Anthem. And because Jill had this great idea, are officially in the process of paneling with Magellan.
Magellan, you have to, yeah.
So we're really trying to do everything we can. Unfortunately, it's an incredibly long process. This started in November, literally, I think a week after the election, we started the paneling process, and Medicare is the only one that's gone through so far. So that's a really big deal for us, and we do want to make sure that people can access our services and not have to go broke doing it.
Right,
that's not helpful for anyone. So
second to last question, because I know some of us need to be elsewhere. Tell people how to get in touch with y'all. Yeah.
So our website is Prism Counseling CT, not prison. Prism.
PRISM.
Can't tell you, how
many
often people.
times?
Yeah, I'm going to spell it because two things. One, it's way too long. And two, I realized nobody knows how to spell counseling.
Is it one L or two?
It is one.
Okay.
And it's an S and not a C.
Oh, yeah.
So Prism, PRISM, COUNSELING.CT.com. And then our phone number is 860-269-0703. Our admin, Devin, is amazing. And if you call her, she will get you all set up to either get a chemistry. We call it a chemistry call, a little 15-minute phone call or Zoom with one of our clinicians if you want to just kind of see if it's a good fit, or jump right in and set up an initial session. And our website has all sorts of contact information. It has everybody's bios, everybody's pictures, because I think especially...
You do have the schedule there as well, so upcoming events, folks can check in on that.
Just today I was updating because there's more that we didn't get to, so we have lots of events. I'm just going to quickly say,
Go
ready?
ahead. Go,
you see the other ones.
Go.
We have... we're starting a voice therapy workshop with Hillary Weisberg, who
has
wonderful.
Been on the show. Yeah.
She's going to be doing a voice therapy workshop series. It'll be Tuesday evenings at 6, I think, starting mid-February. And we are going to be partnering with Backstage Dance next door. They have the building next door. And Logan from Transcend Taekwondo and Backstage Dance and Michelle Bailey. And we're going to be offering some self-defense workshops for both kids and teens/adults. So those are coming up as well. And I think February 8th is the first one of those. But if it's well attended and there's interest, we'll continue offering those probably quarterly. Because unfortunately, as Jill said, a lot of people are feeling very unsafe right now. And one of the things we can do to try and meet that need is to build their skills in self-defense, which is sad, but at least we can try and help. And then, speaking of, I'm going to give you the exclusive.
Okay.
Okay.
Lay it on me. I'm
Should
ready.
I do it? Am I doing it? I'm doing it.
I think I know what you're doing.
I'm doing the
Yeah,
thing.
okay.
Because speaking of fundraising, so Jill has this great, amazing bus trip planned. We try and offer all of these things that we can. You know, it costs money. Our Halloween party every year, these things cost money. And so we are always looking for ways to raise money. Well, we happen to have a staff that is super talented, and including our intern coming up and starting next week with us, Paul Leitz, who is also an incredible performer. So we have, I haven't even told you this yet,
No.
Claire. Okay, ready?
I'm excited.
We are going to have the first Prism Out Loud cabaret, a cabaret of all our staff. Jill is going to be our lovely MC.
Yes, because I can't sing and I can't dance.
There you go.
I bet you could. I bet you could, Jill.
We're gonna get her in something.
Idea I want to do with you.
Okay.
I'll tell you
Oh,
about it.
I'm excited.
Oh, my
Taking a
goodness.
segment out of my book.
Oh,
Okay.
A chapter out
Oh
of
my
my book.
gosh,
You can
Jill.
act. What?
Yes,
That's,
Yes, I came to me last night.
I love it.
It's called The Day I Became My Own Husband.
Oh, I'm so
It's a true
excited.
story.
You should see
now
Emma's
I'm
face
so
right now.
So excited.
Yes, I actually did become my own husband one time.
Oh my God, I can't wait. I cannot wait. So we're going to have a cabaret and it's going to be amazing. We have friends from the theater community who are going to be joining us. And we believe that Connecticut Theater Company is going to be our home for that performance. And we're just hoping to raise as much money as we can through that while entertaining the audience and giving them a great night out. And
Oh, I see what you
hopefully-
did there. Yeah.
Yeah, Prism Out Loud, get it? So it's going to be just really great, and hopefully we can raise a lot of money through that to be able to fund things like $10,000 trip to New York City.
So
We don't have the date yet.
Okay, that was going to be my question. As much as I would love to be supportive and help you, when my daughter was about 3, because she was still in the middle of the back seat, you know how you have to move the car seat, and I picked her up from daycare and was driving home and singing along to whatever was on the radio. Good Money says it was Springsteen, and she said from the back seat, "You have the worst singing voice I've heard in my whole life."
Wow.
And so I was not allowed to sing
That's
in
funny.
my house. And you know, it was a long 10-mile walk home for her that day. But
As a
I think
3-year-old.
we all learned something. Really, I
Yes.
think that was the important part.
Well, how are your auctioneer skills?
Oh,
I bet you'd be
Ooh.
an excellent auctioneer.
Probably good. I've never tried, but I could do that.
Because we're hoping to get some
Count me
big
in.
ticket items. I'm looking at, maybe some tickets to shows at some of the
Oh.
professional theaters around. Stuff like
Super
that.
cool.
We could use it. Yeah, see? So
Last question to each of you individually. This is not fair to my other guests because I ask them similar things, but this is actually what you do for a living. So it's not
advantage.
fair. Right now, as we're talking, there's a queer kid out there who's scared as hell, who feels alone, who feels like there are no options. There are no good options. Tell them something.
I had a brand new client yesterday, and they found us through the website, struggling with their identity, struggling coming out. The first thing they said when they walked in here, and they said, this is the first time I felt like I could breathe. That's all I'm going to say.
I think just that, to find community because it's out there and it can be safe because there are people who want to see you and know you and love you. You have to kind of take the step of faith that can be out there for you.
Knowing that you're not alone
Yeah.
in a real way, not in the sort of abstract Hallmark card way, but in, I'm not alone. There's somebody I could reach out to. There are people who are going through pretty similar things.
Yeah.
My friend.
find that safe person. Hopefully that safe adult. They are out there. If you look for signs, it could be a pin on a backpack. It could be, a teacher's lanyard. It could be anything, a safe space poster in a classroom. Find that one person, preferably that one in-person adult. But it could be also virtual if needed, as long as it's done in a safe place, in a
Right.
safe way. Like, I think it's just so helpful, and statistics even show it's just so important to have that one safe adult. And they are out there and they will be there for you. And they can be there for you in a way that can just be between the two of you.
Right.
And that's just really helpful. So whomever that is.
And there are 4 of them sitting in this room, so not impossible to find.
Yeah, no. They're there. They're there. If you really look for the signs.
What's important here is who. We are here.
We're here. We're
That's
here.
the button.
Oh, I love
That's
it.
where we're leaving it. Thank you all so much for this.
Thank you, Claire.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Some items from the current Prism calendar. Next Community Day is Saturday, April 26th. Jill Thompson will be showing folks how to plant your own succulent. The Big Gay Cabaret we talked about is on for Friday, May 16th, and I am practicing my auctioneer pattern now.
75, no, 1, 61 a quarter, 61 a quarter, 1 a hang on a minute and 75 a minute and bear a bit and 75 a minute, 175 a minute and bear a bit, 1 a half a minute and 75 a minute and bear a bit, 75 a bit, half a mind, to get down, 30 a minute, 1 a half a minute and 75 and die, sold 61.50.
Be sure to check out the mini episodes on the federal government's series of executive orders. I read them so you don't have to. I'll be at the North Haven Library on April 5th with a program titled In the News. The Prism Book Club, sponsored through the East Haven Library, is on for April 23. We'll be celebrating National Poetry Month by discussing Joy Layden's most recent book of poetry entitled Family. Be sure to check out my conversation with Joy just behind this episode in the feed. And please join Kim and me for our inaugural Sex Trivia Night, April 19th at the Blue Orchid in New Haven. This has been Transqat. I'm Clare McCarthy. Thank you for listening, and let's talk soon.
This is Sadie McCarthy. I'm Claire's niece.
And you've just been listening to Transqat. It is made by one of my favorite people in the world, Clare McCarthy.
Transqat is a production of Transqat Enterprises, LLC.
Copyright 2023, all rights reserved.
Join us on the web at transqat.com.
That's TRANSQAT.com.
QAT.com.
QAT.com.
There you'll find links to Transqat, the blog,
writing projects,
speaking engagements,
and our PayPal donations page.
Please consider supporting our mission with your monkeys.
Monies.
Your monies.
Your monies.
Not monkeys.
Please consider supporting our mission with your monies. Any monkeys will be gratefully received as well.
Follow Transqat on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube.
On TikTok, we are at The Real Transqat. Want to tell your story on air?
Or ask Claire a question?
What is the deal?
She has all the answers.
Or suggest a guest or topic for an upcoming episode.
Use the contact page at the website
or email her directly at crmtranscat@gmail.com.
crmtranscat@gmail.com.
And thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening. Bye.